Chinese Foreign Minister Qin Gang is set to arrive in Philippines tonight, commencing a crucial three-day visit, with ties between the two nations having entered increasingly murky waters in recent weeks. Mr Qin will hold talks with his Philippine counterpart Enrique Manalo tomorrow before meeting with President Marcos Jr. Now, the two are expected to have a whole wide-ranging discussions, from deepening cooperation in areas such as agriculture to regional security issues, including the South China Sea. And this will be Mr Qin's first visit to the Southeast Asian nation since taking office last year. The trip comes at a delicate time for bilateral ties between China and the Philippines. Just last week, Beijing accused Manila of stoking the fire of regional tensions by offering U.S. troops access to 4 more military bases. Meantime, dozens of activists in Manila held a demonstration outside the Chinese embassy in response to that claim. They're calling for the Chinese ambassador who made those comments to be removed from the post. Others simply voiced their displeasure towards Beijing ahead of the foreign minister's visit.
So ang ating message, huwag niyong gawing proxy, huwag niyong gawing battleground ng inyong panibagong Cold War ang Pilipinas. Na ang gusto lang ng mga Pilipino ay magalang ang kanilang karapatan sa soberanya, makapaghanap buhay yung mga mangingisda namin at makapaghanap buhay yung mga OFW namin sa Taiwan nang hindi nakakatanggap ng mga babala o mga pananakot.
And for more, Camille Olemia joins us live now from Manila. Camille, what can we read into the timing of his visit, and why has it raised the hackles of some Filipinos?
Yes, the timing is really interesting. Qin Gang's visit coincides with the largest ever joint military exercises between the Philippines and the U.S. And it happened a few days after the Chinese ambassador here drew flack for seemingly threatening the safety of Filipino workers based in Taiwan should the Philippines not oppose pro-Taiwan moves. Qin Gang's visit was actually initiated by the Philippines, with Foreign Minister Manalo inviting him. If anything, this shows the tricky balancing act that the Philippine government has to do between the two superpowers, because the U.S. has been our traditional ally and China is a growing superpower here in our region. For the past months, we have been witnessing the Philippines, under President Ferdinand Marcos Jr., rekindle its ties to the U.S., which just a year ago was not like this because it was under a former president, Rodrigo Duterte. And first on the list was the expansion of the U.S.-Philippines Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement, which allows U.S. access to more military bases. Some of them are facing Taiwan in the northern part of the country. And just recently, the U.S. and the Philippines, the defense ministers and foreign ministers of the two countries, concluded the successful 2+2 meeting in Washington, D.C., the first in 7 years. Of course, these developments were much to the dismay of China, and in the past weeks, we have heard stronger comments from their officials, including their top diplomat here, Ambassador Huang Xilian. And just today, Chinese Foreign Minister Qin again reiterated in Shanghai that the Taiwan question is the core of core interests in China, and that Beijing will not sit idly by in its response to anyone who tries to distort the one China principle. And as you mentioned earlier, many Filipinos opposed it because they said that the statement of Ambassador Huang violates the sovereignty of the Philippines, because as President Marcos said, the Philippines has the right.
Want to add on, and to add to China's dismay, the Philippine president, he is also set to meet with U.S. President Joe Biden next month. Just how significant is this?
It's really, really significant because, in just less than a year, it's already the second meeting between the two nations' leaders. Just last September 2022, President Marcos and President Biden already met in the U.S. at the sidelines of the United Nations General Assembly. And as the White House says, President Biden, in this bilateral meeting in May, will reaffirm Washington's ironclad commitment to the defense of the Philippines. And the leaders will also discuss efforts to strengthen the alliance amid the Taiwan issue.
All right, good speaking with you. Thanks very much for that. Camille Olemia reporting to us live from Manila.